Hey, all you weirdos, welcome back to another episode of Weird Faith. My name is Josh.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Scott.
And we are so excited about the episode that we have ahead of us today. Before we get any further, though, we asked the people to let us know who was the weirdest in our first episode. So, this week's Weird Award winner is going to the one and only, unanimously voted, Phil Wayman.
Man.
Phil's going to wear this nice crown for us. He's always been royalty to us. So.
Oh, man.
This crown's going to make a little more sense here in just a bit once Scott gets into everything. Scott is going to be our host today. He's going to guide us through a conversation. We're going to make some jokes and share some weird facts with you. And then Scott is going to bring the application of today's message too. So take it away, Scott.
There we go. So I asked some of our weirdos. That's what we're calling you, our fans. I hope you're okay with that. If not, we're still going to call it anyways, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Talking to some of our weirdos, and I said, hey, what kind of topics would you want to hear? And one of our biggest weirdos, I'm not a Patreon supporter yet, but one of our biggest weirdos is actually my wife, Katie.
Oh, man.
That was a twist.
It's a twist. But it wasn't an insult. Right? I mean,
She's just a big fan of the show.
Big fan of the
So she's
show.
a big
Right,
weirdo.
no, I'm
Big
just
fan of me.
surprised that she's a fan.
Big fan of Josh. And I said, hey, what kind of topics should we talk about? And she said, I want you to talk about Disney princesses.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I'm an expert.
That's why he's wearing the crown today, right? You are our Disney princess today. But before we get into kind of the conversation, tell me your favorite Disney movie.
Okay.
Top three.
All right, yeah, I would have to do a top three, and they probably could change each day. I'd have to go Lion King, the original Toy Story, and then Aladdin.
All right.
All kind of OGs. I think
Yeah.
they were all in the 90s,
Yeah.
right? I think so. Yeah. So right around when I was born.
All around 95, 96.
Yeah, I watched all
Heyday.
three of those movies like over and over and over again as a kid. I had Aladdin on a couple days ago. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So my top one is the movie Up. That one's an awesome one. I really
He likes
like
to
that.
be depressed, that's why.
Well,
Phil
yeah.
doesn't have feelings.
And then there's Tangled is one of my
classic.
favorites.
It's so good.
It's really good. I love the Flynn Rider. I love the horse is so awesome in that. And Mandy Moore as Rapunzel.
Yeah, voice of an angel.
What's the other one? I can't remember the name with the emotions.
Inside Out.
Inside Out. I really
Such
like
a good
Inside
movie.
Out too.
Dude, that one was really good.
That one actually bumped me out more than Up when Bing Bong died.
Bing Bong's
Oh, man.
death
Spoiler
is-
if you haven't seen it.
It's like a top 5 cinematic death of all
Yeah.
time
That
in
was
terms of
very
just
sad.
emotions.
That was rough.
and heartstrings being pulled.
I
hard
watched
to
that for
watch.
the first time, I think, with you and some other teenagers.
Wow.
I know Gary was there.
I wasn't invited.
Yeah.
And I remember looking
When
over.
I was working at
and,
the theater.
I remember
Yes.
looking over and seeing some teenage boys kind of crying
They're
about
just
this
crying about
with
it.
no
imaginary friend
With
that
no shame.
disappeared.
Because I remember when my imaginary friend disappeared.
Right? Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Oh.
I have
ever
you
come
guys
back?
now. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay,
It's
we're good.
It's okay.
What about you?
Mine are all new, so yours are all old. You kind of have a little bit over the map there. Mine, number one ever, it would be Coco. That movie is so good.
That's a good
is
one.
It's such a good movie. I love it. I love the story behind it. Second one being the newest of most of them, Encanto. I mean, talk about a soundtrack.
Dude,
Yeah.
like maybe the best Disney soundtrack ever.
Bangers.
It is so
all of them.
My favorite song,
bussin'.
Dos Oruguitas. That song,
That's the two butterflies. Right?
yeah, it's such a good movie. Or such a good song. I love that song.
Yeah.
And then third, I would have to say, hot take here, Frozen 2. Dude, I think it's better than the first one.
That's a hot take. Olaf's going to melt. That take
That's
is so hot.
so hot.
All three of those movies, though, the soundtracks don't have a bad song.
Yeah.
Almost
I would
every other
agree.
one has a song where you're like, eh. Like, I love Moana, but I hate the snail song or the crab, whatever he is.
Dude, I
Fancy.
kind of like it.
I like
Shiny.
it too.
Shiny. That's it. I hate that
dig
song.
it. Hey, I will say, the song that Olaf does in the second one,
Older?
Older. That song is when we watched that in theaters, we were
Older.
crying. It was so funny.
My favorite part is Samantha. I don't even know a Samantha. Sadie walks
Yeah.
around the house going, Samantha? All the
So
time.
I
That's a
remember
good one.
that one song. So my kids were little when this came out, and it's I don't even know the words, but the beginning of Frozen 1 when they're all cracking the ice, and harvesting the ice,
the ice
and I can
song.
just hear that like, dun, do you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, at the very beginning.
Bang.
Yeah.
It's setting the tone for the movie.
Yeah, it's so that like takes you there.
Yeah,
it
I
takes
love
you
that.
back to like a moment.
Nice. Yeah.
So I wanted to bring some Disney princess facts. So we're going to spend a little time talking about our favorite facts that we read about some Disney princesses, specifically princess ones. But like we talked about our favorite movies, but this is primarily Disney princess. So Josh, start us off.
Okay, so I did a lot of research. There are so many cool, unique, interesting Disney princess facts out there. It's also a really controversial topic, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're like
Very divisive.
who's considered a Disney princess and things like that. Like, it gets pretty intense for some of the fans out there. I saw a lot of really good stuff, but I just kept coming back to Ariel and Little Mermaid. So I'm just going to talk about that one movie, mostly because I feel like the more research I did, the more I came to the conclusion that The Little Mermaid might be the most significant and impactful Disney princess movie ever. It really kind of set the tone for a lot of the ones that came out in the
Modern
90s.
Disney,
Like the Renaissance era, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
So
because Snow White, I think, came out in 1937, which was the first Disney princess movie, and there was 3 during that era. But then there's a big gap, right?
yes, yeah. So it was. What'd you say? Sleeping Beauty? No, Snow White.
Snow White.
Snow White. Cinderella was in the 50s.
And Sleeping Beauty, yeah.
And then Sleeping Beauty in 1959. And then there was this 30-year drought.
To the 80s, right?
There was nothing, no Disney princesses, until Ariel in 1989. And that's when Disney kind of went on this whole, like, Disney princess renaissance, putting all these movies out, started really, like, monetizing the whole thing and the branding.
Whoever thought Disney would monetize anything?
Right? Yeah. They're not in it for the money, but really building this brand of the Disney princesses. So Ariel kind of set the tone for this becoming what it is today.
Right.
But anyway, into the movie, there's a lot of really cool, unique facts and Easter eggs and like fan theories and things like that. One of the coolest things is if you actually go back and start watching The Little Mermaid. It's one of the opening scenes, and King Triton is coming in. You'll see this crowd of people, and most of it's mermaids and fish and things like that. But if you slow things down, in the audience with King Triton is also Kermit the Frog,
No way.
Wow.
Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and Donald Duck.
Don't do that voice. Freaks me out every time you do it.
I know. He is pretty good at it.
He is. That's why it freaks me out.
Yeah, it's almost like too good, but also kind of like
I always like to, with my kids, will just do things that Mickey would never say, like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to watch you sleep tonight.
yeah, that's gonna be in my
Chloe
nightmares
loves
tonight.
it.
You're going to hear
loves
that.
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Scott does a pretty good Kermit the Frog while we're on that.
No,
Go ahead.
I really don't.
You sure?
I've never done a Kermit the Frog voice before.
Could you do it for our weirdos real
Kermit the
quick?
Frog here?
There it is.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Kermit's actually by himself, and then you have Goofy, Donald, and Mickey standing by each other.
So that was 1989, right?
89.
So if they made the movie today, who would be the little Easter eggs they fill in? Like, so when they make the new one that's coming out like next year,
Yeah.
who would you hide?
I think it'd be the three of us.
There you go.
I'll be like little Baby Yoda floating
Scuba
around.
Everybody would notice us, right? Baby Yoda, yeah,
Baby
That'd be a good
Yoda.
one. That'd be a good one.
There you go.
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
Maybe
So-
a Marvel character, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Got,
Iron
yeah, somebody who
Rest
can be
in peace.
underwater. I know Aquaman's not Marvel, but
Namor.
you could throw him in
Namor,
there.
yeah.
No, there you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, staying on Little Mermaid, there are fan theories that Ariel and Hercules are actually related. And it actually makes a ton of sense because Ariel's father is Triton,
Right.
who is the son of Poseidon, whose brother is Zeus, and Zeus's son is Hercules.
Wow.
So it's more than just like, oh, they both have orange hair. It's like, dude, they actually probably would see each other at family reunions.
Yeah.
But speaking of orange hair, do you know why Ariel was a redhead? Do you know this?
I read something
So
about
in
when they chose the hair
1984,
color.
the movie Splash came out. And Daryl Hannah was the mermaid in the movie. It was Tom Hanks, right?
Daryl?
Daryl Hannah? What was
Is
her
the
name?
man's name?
No.
Is a woman's name?
There's a woman's name. Daryl
Daryl?
Hannah. Yeah,
Daryl.
Daryl Hannah.
Okay.
You know, Daryl.
Daryl Hannah. Daryl. Daryl Hannah. I don't know. I didn't name her, okay?
Hey, that's a good name
Next kid.
for your next kid. Daryl.
Daryl
Well,
McClure.
tell us what you think, weirdos. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that movie was huge not really, in the 1980s, and Disney wanted to like separate themselves from that since it was the previous like mermaid that they had in their minds. So they said,
Is that a Disney movie? Splash?
No, it
no, it's
wasn't.
not a Disney movie.
So they wanted just to separate themselves. So they made her a redhead, because originally she was gonna be blonde, but she would look just like
That's what I
her.
saw.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it worked out. I think
It really
I don't
pops.
think it makes
pops.
sense with
the greenish blue color. I actually saw that Disney like they kind of made that color. They didn't create the color, but
God created that.
God. You're already talking about Greek gods. I know. Now saying Disney created the color green.
well, they blended this perfect color and actually called it Ariel.
It's not easy being green. Did you know that?
Hey,
Yeah,
there you go,
there you
Kermit.
But yeah, so there's like imagine that family reunion.
Oh,
Right? That
be
gathering,
crazy.
like, it's a lot of power struggle there.
Oh, yeah.
But my last thing with Little Mermaid is that the original tale of the Little Mermaid. I actually didn't know this was a thing until a few years ago. Tale. Not a happy story at all. So it actually, the movie is based off of a tale that was written in like the 1800s, 1850s, or something like that. It is really horrifying and scary and morbid. So they get some of the things right, and you can tell like, oh, this comes from this, but it is very, very different in how they execute the story. So the Little Mermaid in the original story, I was going to say tale again. In the original story, does give up her voice for the ability to be on land, be a human, so she can chase her true love and all that. But it wasn't that she just magically, like, her voice disappeared. The evil witch of the sea that she went and sought out chopped her tongue off.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to like silence you. It's like, hey, I'm actually going to remove your tongue so you can't sing.
That's gross.
And then she does transform to where she has legs instead of her mermaid tail. But in the original story, it says that every step she took on land was excruciating pain, like she was stepping on knives. So
Was it worth
That's
it?
messed up.
yeah, a lot of pain and just cruel
Agony.
All to
themes
get
in the
this
story.
guy, right?
Just to chase this guy.
Yeah, right.
And then, in her pursuit of this guy, she doesn't even get him. So, imagine if The Little Mermaid, the movie we know, ends this way. So she's in pursuit of this guy, and he falls in love with somebody else. She spirals into this crazy deep depression, dives in the water after his wedding, and turns into sea foam. And that's the end of the movie. So,
Wow.
she didn't
That's
get...
terrible.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
so...
that's like movie goals for the next, like the live adaptation. They should
Right.
totally make that story.
Well, it would have to be a rated R horror film,
Right.
right? Like, this would be up there with the scariest of movies, I think. So,
That's terrible. Well, they just came out with, I don't know if it just came out this month, but there's a horror movie of the Grinch. Have you seen that?
Oh,
It's called
dude.
No way, really?
The Mean One is
Mean
what it's
One.
called. They can't
Yeah.
use
Really?
the word Grinch, but it's terrifying. There was also, at Halloween, there was Winnie the Pooh.
I knew about that one.
I don't remember what it was called, but
Yeah, I don't either.
I
just
didn't see
horror
that.
movies. But
That,
that
I
would
think
fit.
they were actually allowed to use poo, like Winnie
Yes,
the Pooh,
because
for that.
the copyrighted,
So long, what is
yeah,
public
right.
domain? That's
yes,
it.
it's in public domain.
yeah. Have
Yeah.
you noticed that people are really leaning into, like, actually scaring their kids with Grinch costumes right now?
That's
Like,
terrible.
I feel
I
like
would not do it.
every day now I'm seeing a video where somebody puts on a Grinch suit, like breaks into the house, like smashes a window open, or like it hasn't been that, but it's been
right,
like
yeah.
I'm gonna aggressively
It's messed up.
jump in this house and start taking all these presents. I saw one though where these kids, like, they were not having it, and there was like 5 or 6 kids, and they immediately dropped what they were doing and just started wailing
Oh, my
on this guy.
goodness.
And
Was
you
it a
could
parent?
tell. Yeah, but you could tell the adult in the Grinch suit was like, "Stop!
Wait,
Stop! Like, this has gone too far," because they were not letting him
You
steal
need to
their
change
presents.
who you follow on TikTok if you're
Yeah,
watching that kind of
right,
stuff,
yeah.
too. Come on.
I
Here's a
always
good-
feel
do some
bad for
wholesome
these
things.
kids, man. They were like running off screaming, like
There's the
traumatized.
What's the classic? Would you rather with an elephant-sized duck,
a horse-sized
a horse-sized duck? Yeah,
fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
right. And that's what I picture. I get of having to fend off all these kids.
Yeah,
Would you rather fight one large man?
or 6 really greedy kids that just want their Christmas presents.
Wow. You got any fun facts?
Yeah, a couple of mine are about Cinderella, which is a classic.
Yeah.
Tale.
OG.
Also, she doesn't have a tail though, that I know of. But so here's a funny thing: in Cinderella, the prince is actually never called Prince Charming. They never actually say that. So it's just everybody kind of decided, I guess, that this one particular prince was charming.
Yeah.
And,
He's all right.
How do you describe him best? He's
right.
charming.
You know him, Prince Charming. Another thing that's crazy is her shoe size comparable would be 4.5.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Shoe size of 4. Now I'm a size 9 shoe, which is not large by any means.
Something
Yeah.
to be
But
proud of.
yeah, right, yeah. But I don't know, what size is Sadie right now? She's probably
Probably close to that.
I know, right? Yeah, like these,
yeah.
infant feet.
Wow.
And no wonder she was losing her shoes all the time.
Yeah, I think I read that she
you
lost her
see
shoes
him.
like 3 times during
Yeah,
the movie.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a couple fun facts from Cinderella.
Well, I know like the original, it's one of those brothers Grimm tale, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And like I think the original one of Cinderella, like the stepsisters were so jealous and envious of her that they like mutilated their own feet to get their feet to fit into the shoe.
Oh, geez.
I'm like, again, thank you, Disney.
Right, yeah.
Disney's
Like we've talked about
great.
this before, like the creative minds to take a horror of a story and turn it into something like children love and sing.
Yeah,
It's pretty impressive.
Seriously, like all credit to these people.
Yeah.
Like
Pinocchio's like that, too.
Pinocchio's just creepy all around.
Right.
I don't think they tried
Even
that
the
much.
Disney one
Yeah,
is creepy.
as
they
it
didn't
is.
do as good of a job
It's creepy.
of decreepifying the...
No, it's still weird. I don't like watching it.
But originally, pretty close to the beginning of the book, Pinocchio steps on Jiminy Cricket and kills him.
Oh man.
Yeah, so he just squashes.
Doesn't
his-
matter if you wish upon a star of a giant
conscience.
Pinocchio steps on you.
Yeah.
he's gonna be one of the main characters in the movie. Never mind. Oh, dude.
Wow. So mine, I have a few different ones. One of them is from Snow White. Now remember, Snow White's voice is so unique. Like I've never heard another voice like that. Which I also read that she's actually the youngest of all Disney princesses. She's actually 14.
Oh, wow.
Which is, and Jasmine's 15, which I didn't know that. And I don't know. if
Ariel's
that's-
16.
There you go.
They say it in the movie.
They're all young.
A lot of young princesses.
But the lady who played Snow White, her name is Adriana Caselotti. When she signed her contract, she was paid $1,000 to do that movie. That's it. $1,000 to do that movie. And then she was forbidden by her contract to ever sing for another movie.
What?
So basically, Disney did exactly what Ursula did and stripped her voice away and owns her voice.
Dude,
Oh, my
so that wasn't... Ariel wasn't the first time that this happened.
No.
Where somebody's
And
voice was
I read
taken
that-
by Disney.
Yeah, I read that in like a 1993 interview. She admitted that until she saw the film, she had no idea it was even a full-length movie.
Oh, my goodness.
So I guess like she just never really cared or watched it. I don't know. Do some research on Adriana Caselotti. It's an interesting thing there.
That isn't...
voice.
The other one that was interesting was from Beauty and the Beast. In the final scene, the dance scene, the big dance scene,
Right.
that's actually recycled footage from Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. The animators were running out of time; they were over budget, so they had to take recycled footage from that movie, Sleeping Beauty, when they dance, and apply it to that one. They just superimposed Beauty. Her name's not Beauty. Belle and the Beast, also known as Adam, which I don't think is ever mentioned,
Beast is a
but
way
apparently his
better
name's
name.
Adam.
Beast.
So they basically superimposed that just to make the movie done.
Wow.
So it's actually the same exact footage there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Somebody
kinda wild.
go look for that. Go watch them.
Like do side by side.
I'm sure it's out
I'm sure it's
there.
all up
TikTok
on different
somewhere.
devices.
Right,
Yeah.
And another thing I thought was interesting, Belle, like in the opening scenes when she's going through the town, she's the only one wearing blue.
Yeah.
And then later, once Beast starts to fall in love, he starts to wear blue.
Wow.
So I guess blue is the color of love in Disney. I mean,
Yeah. Phil's got it on.
no.
Mine's purple.
And last one, this is a little bit of a trivia question. Who is the only Disney princess not to sing in her own movie?
Not to
She
sing.
never sings.
Ooh. Okay.
Merida?
Merida.
I was going to say, I can't imagine. I can't even
Merida
picture
never
what-
sings. I wish she would have. That movie is great. It's underrated. The music is incredible. How she's sung.
Now,
I
the
think it would've
redhead.
been- Yeah.
Yeah,
I did read if
hey.
she like if she straightened her hair, it'd be 4 feet long.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure who came up with that, but I'm pretty sure I read that Disney had to like create a whole new animation program just to do her hair.
Wow.
So commitment, right?
Man. Yeah. I actually never saw Brave. Maybe I'll get
You haven't seen it?
catch some flack for that one.
We'll go
Yeah.
on movie night.
All right.
You all can come. Just tell us. So before we move on, let's do a draft then of our favorite Disney princesses.
Okay.
So we're gonna do our top 3. We're going to do a draft. I'm the host, so I'll go first, of course. Josh will go second, and since our weirdo over here lost last week, he will be third. But we'll do like fantasy order, so we'll let you have 2 back-to-back.
Snake draft.
Yes.
There we go.
So there we go. So, number 1, my favorite Disney princess is Belle.
Belle. Going
Belle.
with the OG.
Yeah.
That's a solid
OG.
first rounder.
I will argue that even though she is considered an OG princess, as is Mulan, neither one of them are actually Disney princesses. Neither one of them are actually a princess in their own movie.
No
Right,
royalty.
yeah.
No royalty.
In their families.
I think the argument for Belle is that she marries, you assume, right? She marries Beast and becomes royalty, I guess. But no, I love her character because when I first saw it, I remember thinking, like, this girl's got Stockholm Syndrome. She falls in love with her captors. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
If you go, I just saw this. If you go watch the Christmas sequel, like a Christmas special from Beauty and the Beast, it's kind of like a sequel. It fills in the gaps of the long time that she's actually there.
Oh, wow.
So it's basically through the winter. It's like a Christmas scene, and you see them falling in love as she chooses to show compassion towards her captor. So it actually makes it a little bit better.
So the
but also,
long story makes it less creepy.
it makes it less creepy. But I also love just how she's willing to take her father's place. Like that's just a noble gesture.
Absolutely.
Took a lot of bravery there.
Yeah.
So Belle's my number 1.
Man, that's a great first pick. But I'm going to beat it.
Okay.
But also with the nobility and the honor, and you mentioned her already, it's Mulan. Mulan is awesome. Yeah. Also, fun fact about Mulan, Mulan, of all the Disney princesses, has the highest kill count.
Life goals.
Not that that's like really the metric we're trying to hit with picking the best princess, but
That's what's wrong with Meghan Markle. She needs a higher higher death count would be.
yeah,
People would love her then.
there's a scene in Mulan where she like shoots a rocket and it causes this avalanche and kills like 2,000 Huns. So that's imagine if they did do a live action, but that's pretty morbid too.
We took the girls for Christmas to see Disney on Ice, and they did that scene.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I was like, man, this is like traumatic for all these kids to watch.
seriously.
It was less like, less death. It was just like a big, instead of snow, it was like a big sheet.
Did any of the guys actually die?
Well, one guy got like drug off the ice, but the Zamboni took him off.
Yeah. So I did the math. I looked this up. So if you combined all of James Bond's kills through every movie, every James Bond movie ever, which there's like I don't even
Too
know
many.
how many.
Maybe,
Yeah. Combined that with all of Jason Bourne's kills, and you doubled their combined kills, Mulan would have more.
Wow.
So Mulan seriously being slept on, but seriously stepping into her father's place, who's not fit to go into battle. So it's
impressive.
Awesome movie.
All right, my first pick is Rapunzel. I've talked about her a little bit already.
Yeah.
70 feet of hair that she
lot.
can swing through the trees.
Very versatile.
Artistic.
Probably needs a chiropractor.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Artistic, well-read, funny. I just, I don't know what more you can say about her other than, maybe she stayed in the tower a little too long.
Yeah.
But
Well-rounded. man.
again, a whole weird
But
relationship.
it wasn't until she finally saw the light that she left.
Right. I always love that part from the movies too. And Chloe we've done those lanterns, and that's always a fun thing to do. So that's my first pick.
Nice pick. Well, now you get
Oh yeah. So
number two.
here's a
Picking again.
sleeper pick that is probably going to surprise some people, especially because there's some big, well-known princesses on the board. But that's going to be Vanellope von Schweetz from Wreck-It Ralph.
Dude, that's awesome.
She is amazing. She, is just rambunctious. She's a good racer.
Yeah.
And she has a scene in the second one where she's all with the Disney princesses. And
she holds her own.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And
I would not have thought of that. That's a great pick.
Yeah, those are good movies, too. But I love her. One of her quotes is, "Sweet mother of monkey milk." That's one you can try and throw around.
Next time you
There
stub
we
your
go.
toe.
Yeah, there you go.
Say that
there
one.
you go.
Let's see if I can work that into the episode later on.
So Rapunzel and Vanellope von Schweetz.
All right, coming back to me for round 2. I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've had some pushback on this as well. I'm going to go Princess Leia from Star Wars. Princess Leia.
Doesn't change my number 2.
Could be a little controversial, but
Sure,
Disney bought Star Wars.
That's
Right?
Josh's
So technically-
only just has to have killed lots of people.
Yeah, you're going for the highest kill.
Yeah.
She probably has
No,
more. She has more.
it's-
She has more kills than Mulan.
It's got to be at least credit to her somehow. She
Joan
was
of
the
Arc is
general
generous or
of
something.
the rebellion.
Yeah.
Top of
So-
the pyramid.
Yeah, Leia is awesome. Big shout out to Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
right?
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Awesome movies. Princess Leia, throwing her in there with Mulan. What you got, Scott?
Well, I got to change my approach now. But since you took some liberty with that one, I will too. I think mine could probably beat up Leia. Definitely Carrie Fisher. Okay. Sorry, it's too soon. My second favorite, a newer one, new to the Disney royalty, is Shuri, Princess of Wakanda, the Black Panther. She's amazing. That movie, if you've not seen Wakanda Forever, that movie's incredible. She gets put through the emotional ringer. I mean, she loses her father, brother, cousin, mother, like all of it. And she still comes out like she's incredible. Yeah. She has to go through this whole emotional journey of trying to go from revenge to nobility. Yeah. But the way she, spoiler, kind of abdicates the throne in order to serve her country better at the end, it was pretty amazing. Yeah. So Shuri's my number 2.
I agree. See the raw emotions there too. Like, she's real. You know? She's really intelligent. So that's got to be the newest Disney princess, right?
I think.
Did you already say that?
Probably.
So that's the one thing that I do like better about some of the newer Disney things is like, for instance, like Princess Aurora has like 18 lines of dialogue in her own movie, and they've kind of gone away from. Stealing women's voices, sleeping.
But I did read
asleep the whole time.
I did read though that even though yes, that's true, but all out of all the Disney princess movies, men have 50% of the dialogue.
Wow.
So it's increasing for the female.
Right.
But it's about female character, but apparently not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I saw a meme the other day, and it was a large man in a Black Panther costume. And it said Snack Panther, and he said Wakanda chicken sauce you want for your nuggets.
Dude, that is genius. Speaking of male characters dominating a Disney princess movie, there is a Disney princess movie where the Disney princess is not the main character, and actually it's the male counterpart or whatever. Can you tell me which movie it is?
I think this is pretty simple. And I know it's one of your favorites. It's the movie Aladdin.
Yes.
Jasmine is not the main character.
Yeah, Aladdin is the main character.
She's also not the only one not to wear a dress.
Wow.
Wear pants.
Okay. Right,
nice.
yeah.
So, very cool.
So that was my number 2. I get to pick number 3
yes.
right off the bat. And because you stole one of mine, I got to change it up a little bit. And I'm going to say my daughter's favorite, Princess Anna.
Dude, that's
the
solid.
True hero of Frozen series. Like she sacrificed herself for her sister in the first one. She saved the day in the second one. Right. And it's always because her sister is going too far. Yeah. Right? She's gone into the unknown and she's just doing some terrible things, bringing upon terrible things to for the city of Arendelle. It's all about Anna. I love the scene. My favorite scene is when she realizes that, spoiler, her sister's gone forever there for a little bit. Yeah. And the song, Do the Next Right Thing, that whole scene is incredible. I kind of cheer when she gets up and just starts, like, she's all alone. Yeah, Olaf's gone.
It's so inspirational.
Yeah. It is. Right. It's one of the best songs in the movie.
Well, that's the thing. You kind of alluded to this too. Originally, the Elsa was the villain. Yeah. And then they found out, well, this character is kind of likable still. We probably should have some type of...
Then they pretty much made the parents the villains.
Redemption arc. Yeah, right. For pitting them against each other a little bit. One being in
locking
the room.
Your child in the closet for...
Yeah.
That's what Mike Leach told the guy. Sorry. I miss Mike Leach already. Like the football coach, but I remember he got in trouble for telling the kid with a concussion to go sit in the closet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty much what the entire plot to Frozen is.
It'll be better.
Hey, you got powers. Go to your room.
Right.
Man, who's your number 3?
Yeah. Well, that scene, seriously, the Do the Next Right Thing, like,
it's amazing.
Chills. Even just talking about it right now.
It's amazing.
Not just because it's Frozen. That's not why I have chills.
Yeah.
It's super inspirational and moving.
There's another great line from one of her songs is when they talk about finishing each other's sandwiches.
That's what I was going to say. I love it. My third round pick, got to cap off my draft with Pocahontas.
Okay.
I love Pocahontas. Awesome movie.
We don't know if she has a kill count or not. She could.
She got tattoos.
Yeah. Yes, actually, the first Disney princess with body art.
There we go.
Tattoos on her arm. Great character, also based on a real person.
Right.
Pocahontas represents a real life Native American person who kind of bridged this gap and mediated between Native American people and the settlers in Jamestown. So there's some history there too.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
That's where Josh gets all his history from.
Yeah. Disney movies.
Disney movies.
That's all I know.
Disney and Wikipedia. What else do you need?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, exactly, how that all go and look up the real Pocahontas. But she is a good hero in
Yeah,
that.
great.
So I'm not sure that whole relationship between her and John Smith was there at all. I think that was completely fabricated.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But anyhow,
But we got to hear Mel Gibson sing for the very first time on film because of that.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was
Mel
him.
Gibson.
I didn't either. I didn't know
okay.
that.
He goes from Braveheart to that.
Wow.
That's crazy. So my next one, which I would like to add that Anna is technically a queen and not a princess. But I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. We're taking some...
Shuri and Leia. I mean,
Yeah, so...
Yeah,
well, you take some liberties yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah.
right.
You know you have one.
So you picked Belle,
Yeah.
and then... Okay, so I'm going to go with the last one and you mentioned her, which I'm surprised you haven't picked her yet.
Okay.
Because you talked about how important she was, and that's Ariel.
Dude. Awesome pick.
Very versatile, on land, in the sea.
She also has a collection of all kinds of things she
All
probably
kinds
used to her
of-
advantage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just throw a fork
There's a
at
fork?
you. Yeah, right. She's got lots of pals.
Yeah.
Think of, and you think of another person that has so many like sidekicks with like Sebastian and what's his name?
Flounder.
Flounder, yeah.
Yeah.
And stands up against this
Those might be two of the best sidekick characters.
right. Yeah.
I think Olaf is up there too.
Abu.
You're friends with a snowman.
Abu's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Genie, that's another one. Yeah, I mean, that's classic. Classic.
Dwight. Oh,
What's
not
that?
that. We're talking about Disney sidekick. I guess. So Dwight's a great sidekick.
I don't remember that.
Assistant to the regional
Who's
manager.
Dwight?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Awesome, so that's my last pick.
All
so,
right.
so I got Rapunzel, Vanellope Von Sweet, and Ariel.
Okay. I took Mulan, Princess Leia, and Pocahontas.
I took Belle, Shuri, and Anna.
Yeah.
So let us know who you think has the best top three, and I don't know what are you ranking them as? Like most likely to win in a fight is definitely yours.
Or who did we
I
miss,
don't know.
too?
Who we missed? Tell us your top three.
Yeah, who belongs in the top three? We want to be engaged with you guys. We want to be part of your world. So
Wow.
you guys, catch
Good
that.
one there.
Yeah, so you guys let us know
Good one.
what do you think.
All right, so you can take off your little
Yes,
crown there.
finally.
You're no longer our princess for the day.
All right.
One of the things that we realize when we talk about like Disney princesses is how much Disney shaped our upbringings and shaped our society. You still see it today. And growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, the mantra of Disney and even just everywhere was this idea of following your heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was everywhere. It was in every movie, and you realize how much Disney like influenced everybody else. Because at this point, they didn't even own like Star Wars yet.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch Phantom Menace, terrible movie, hot take. But if you go back and watch that one, when Anakin leaves Tatooine, what does his mom say? After he says to her like, "Hey, will I ever see you again?" She says, "What does your heart say?" Mm-hmm. So it's the same kind of mantra of like following your heart.
Yeah.
Even if it leads to you getting your tongue cut out and feeling like you're stepping on knives and turning into sea foam.
Right.
On the surface,
All worth it. Follow your heart. You can trust it.
on the surface, it sounds like pretty noble advice. Like when you think about relationships, you think about jobs, big decisions about what you do in life. Following your heart sounds like a pretty good idea, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think about when you think about the heart? What does the heart mean to you? Like, how would you define the heart? Are we talking about the organ that's pumping out blood, or what are we exactly talking about?
Right, yeah. Mine is completely clogged. But I eat too many hamburgers.
Yes, same.
But I think I heard someone a long time ago say that the heart is the seat of the emotion.
Just claim it as your own now.
Yeah, it was me. I
was
was that
you.
person.
Whoever, and then Phil Wayman.
Wow, that's
the
good.
seat
though.
of the emotions,
The seat of the
yeah.
emotions. Okay. How would you define it?
Yeah, I don't think I could do much better than that.
Sure.
I think just those strong feelings that are guiding me to something else.
Passions, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
that pull of my strongest feelings or passions. Yeah.
So the Old Testament, so the first half of the Bible, actually talks about the heart 830 times.
Wow.
Just the Old Testament alone, 830 times.
That's pretty weird.
It's pretty weird. There's a lot to say about the heart. And when it talks about the heart, it's not talking about the literal organ.
Right.
It's actually more of a figurative space where soul, emotions, and life collide. Right? So the seat of the emotions. The book of Proverbs calls it the wellspring of life. Others have talked about, I think you've mentioned this before, about it's not even just the heart, it's the kidneys, the bowels.
Right, yeah.
Right.
The Bible will mention that at times. Like, I love you with all my bowels. You know, it has a little bit of a different,
Yeah.
I
think my bowels probably move me more than my heart. In my case, it's follow your fart.
That's very weird.
What is brown and smelly and laying on a piano bench?
I don't know.
Beethoven's Last Movement. There you go.
That's awesome.
All right, so back to the weird things about our hearts. I want to show you that this actually is terrible philosophy. This is not a good thing. You should not follow your heart. And according to what Jeremiah says in the book of Jeremiah chapter 17, God says this. He says, the heart is deceitful above all things, beyond cure. Who can understand it?
Wow.
So 3 things it says. Deceitful, it manipulates your emotions, gives you paranoia, brings lies into your head, is desperately sick, corrupted by sin and selfish desires, and the last was incomprehensible.
Wow.
Yeah.
No one can understand it. So for those 3 things there alone, why would you ever want to follow your heart?
Listen to your heart.
But when he says this, when Jeremiah is writing these words, the people of God are about ready to go into exile for 70 years. Right? So they're in the middle of corruption. There's political corruption. There's turmoil amongst the religious leaders. And the people are trying to figure out what to do next. And they are seeing oppression. They're seeing all this brokenness in their society and their families. And they're starting to trust in the wrong thing. They trust in their own heart. Bad idea. They trust in the hearts of their leaders. Bad idea.
Right.
And he basically, Jeremiah comes in and he says this in verse 5. He said, this is what the Lord says. Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh, whose heart turns away. It's pretty hardcore, like, don't listen to anybody.
Yeah.
Don't follow anybody. And he uses these 2 illustrations of trees. The first one, he says, that person will be like a bush in the wastelands. They will not see prosperity when it comes. They will dwell in the parched places of the desert in a salt land where no one lives. Just desolate.
Yeah.
You're
That sounds wonderful.
Sounds like a great
Follow your
paradise,
heart
right?
there.
Follow your heart into the desert.
Is there any land to buy there that I could live there? That sounds awesome.
And then he compares that or contrasts that with, he says in verse 7, but blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. They will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit.
Wow. That's
So
different.
one who follows their heart is like a bush in a desert.
The tumbleweed.
The tumbleweed just growing through. But it says the one who trusts in the Lord is like one who is a fruitful tree with deep roots connected to a stream of living water, right?
Are you ever surprised when you live, got plants, that beautiful big bushes? Winter comes and it completely dies, goes away, and then they come back.
Yeah,
right.
every time.
It's like
No, it weirds me out every
I always
time,
say goodbye to them. Just you might not.
I just
come
think I'm
back
going to kill them when I plant them.
Sure, right, yeah. But then they come back,
Every
and
time.
they're resilient. Why? Because it said that. Because their roots are deep, and they can withstand the cold and the drought and all those different things. That's such a beautiful picture of what it's like to be planted deeply into an unchanging God rather than this changing, shallow faith that relies on our heart instead.
Oh, yeah, because I think we can relate perfectly to the people of Israel in this story because we see corruption, we see brokenness, we see oppression, we see distrust, all the things that they're witnessing here. Now we're not on the verge of exile, hopefully, but we are here in this distant land, and we're not where we want to be yet, meaning eternity with God. But in all this, we still struggle with who do we trust?
Yep.
Right.
Who do we trust? Our leaders? Do we trust our pastors? Do we trust ourselves? Do we trust our instincts? What do we trust? And here he says, you trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's what I read recently talking about statistics that we're at like an all-time low for faith in institutions of any type. That's why you see people joining less clubs and pushing against corporations and churches and all those different types of things, which in the end is not the end of the world because we have something that is much deeper and much more steady to trust in.
Yeah. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, just to kind of go back to the same imagery that we've been using, the tree and versus the dried out bush in the desert, and then Phil kind of alluded to that too. Like I was thinking about, I think it's John 15:5 is when
We'll go with it.
Yeah, I think
Sounds right to me.
If not, I'll change it on this.
somebody let me know if I misquoted that. But it's where Jesus is talking about what it looks like to be a vine that produces real fruit,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's not living out of my own resources and trusting in my own good works and following my heart, as we're saying.
Right.
It's about abiding in Jesus, who is the true vine. I think I said us as the vines a second ago. That's not what it says. It says, Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Right. We're called to be the branches that are connected to a vine. Like you said, that's grounded in something so much deeper than just our own feelings, my own pull towards my passions, right? So,
So when you think about relationships, jobs, career opportunities, dreams, don't follow your heart.
No.
I'm sure we could
Terrible
spend
advice.
hours talking about how the times we have followed our heart and how it ended poorly.
Yeah.
So my philosophy, unless you're having a heart attack or heartburn, don't follow your heart. Like, just don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Anytime I've followed my heart, it's led me to some place I didn't need to be, or some place that's going to bring pain or harm to me. I need something bigger and that's objectively true. And I believe that that's scripture. I believe that we find that in Jesus, right? We need some kind of like objective thing to guide us and to keep us aligned and on the right path. Otherwise, if I follow my heart, that might lead me to do something that Phil believes is wrong in his heart and Scott doesn't agree with it.
Right.
Like if we're all just following our heart too, like I can't say that you're doing the wrong thing because you're just being true to yourself and you're following your own heart. So anytime Scott kicks me in the shin and says, I'm just following my heart.
Right. Yeah.
Anytime I say something like, well, that's not fair.
Right.
I'm appealing to a higher universal moral code, right?
Yeah.
So we need
beyond
something
us,
that's beyond us
Right.
that can guide us and keep us in check.
Have y'all ever heard of an elephant?
Never heard of it.
Remind me
It's
what
a
it's
big, kind of like a rhinoceros, but taller.
Oh, okay.
And instead of
That's actually an awesome description.
instead of a horn, think of this, appendage in the front that's almost like an arm, but also has a hole in the middle of it, and it can drink out of it. So anyhow,
Man,
picture
that
this
sounds
elephant.
awesome.
But the thing about elephant is they're large, they're huge. I think they're the biggest land mammal, and.
You haven't been to parts of West Virginia. Just kidding.
JK.
Somebody's out there trying to break the record.
But I heard a story or read a story about a man that had an elephant, and he was using it, in this times past as means of getting from one place to another. And he jumps on this elephant, tells it to go. Elephant doesn't move. And so he yells at it then. He's like, get up, go. Elephant doesn't move. And finally, he gets his stick out to hit this elephant. And at that exact moment, the elephant sees some fruit that he wants on a distant tree and stands up right as he hits it. And the man declares to himself, I knew that would work.
Yeah.
I knew that would work all along. Well, him and the elephant go along, and they come to a fork in the road where you go to the right and he could go to his sister's house. You go to the left and he could go to his mom's house. And he's intending to go to his sister's house, but the elephant decides to go the opposite way. And he arrives at his mom's house, and his mother says, hey, I didn't know you were coming. And he says, oh, well, I decided at last minute that I should come to see you. And there must be a reason that I come to see you. And a lot of times that's how we do with our hearts is we decide what we want to do with our hearts, with our elephant, right? And then afterwards we come up with the logic, right? And we're pastors, and oftentimes people will come to us and ask us for our advice. What they're really asking is for our confirmation to give them reasons why their heart is right.
Yeah. Right.
So, for instance, I feel like I need to, leave my husband or something like that. And what they come with is, they don't actually want our advice on what the Bible would say from that perspective, but what they want is for someone to tell them what they're doing is the right thing for them to do.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead and affirm what I...
They want justification.
Yeah, they lead with the heart making decisions
Yeah.
and then come up with the justification afterwards. And that's how you also see these self-affirming ideas that we see in culture, and as to why we're so tribalized is partly because we believe what we want to believe, and then we come up with the reasons afterwards. And that's why you see so many times people having unbelievably detached from reality reasons to why they believe what they believe is because they lead with what they want first. And that's a bad way to live.
It's a terrible way to live.
Our heart is deceitful.
So we're going to wrap up with that kind of thought. And what we want to encourage you to do, we don't just want to like throw this at you and leave you empty-handed here. So just some practical things to do. Think about the imagery again there from Jeremiah. Are you a piece of tumbleweed just blowing through the desert? Or do you feel like you're actually thriving? And don't cross-examine everybody else. Just self-examine your own heart. Look actually at your heart. Are you following it? What's manipulating you? What's trying to deceive you? And then after you do all that, I think we should go back to what we see in Psalm 51, which is a beautiful prayer. In verse 10, it says, create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. We can't do it for you, but we believe that God can do it, and he has done that with Jesus. So he's trying to put a new heart within you. So follow that one. Follow God.
Like if you're maybe taking some steps to trying to see a more fruitful life, looking more like that tree that's rooted in something better, that's by the water, right? Don't beat yourself up if it doesn't happen in a day, too.
Right.
I just heard somebody last night say that the greatest expression of faith isn't the big dreams, it's the small act of obedience and faith, right?
Good.
Just taking those small steps. So maybe that's something, starting this new year that you just say, like, every day I'm just going to be faithful.
Yeah, we're tempted to
staying true to this, taking the small steps that are going to lead to the fruitful life.
Yeah. We're tempted to think about big faith experiences rather than those small decisions daily, being renewed day by day, because your heart is going to continually lead in the wrong direction. And so you center yourself every morning on who God is and who I am in this relationship. Our Father, okay, I'm the child who is in heaven. I'm earthly, he's eternal. And, and continually understanding our relationship to this God who he is in control and I am not. And he is the steady and my heart is not.
Yeah, and the more you pray that, create in me a pure heart, the more you realize that your heart is no longer like your own. It's not more like God's. The more your heart's aligned with his, the more you're going to be seeking his will and doing what he wants you to do in this world. So,
and that's what this is all about, is we're wanting to deepen our faith. We don't want just a normal faith. We want an otherworldly faith.
Yes.
We don't want just to stagnate. We want an abnormal faith. Josh, are your abs normal?
My abs have never been normal.
Mine aren't either.
Well,
I've got one big ab.
They're normal for how I eat and exercise.
Sure, right.
It probably fits perfectly.
Yeah, so that's what we want. We want a weird faith, and we want you to have a weird faith too. So we want you to go subscribe. We almost hit 100 subscribers. We're at 84. If we get 16 more, that'll help us spread the word.
Which is like a fourth of how many people watched it.
Yeah, right.
So just
Look,
next time you watch it, just click subscribe.
Go
Smash
subscribe.
that subscribe button. Got to do it.
Like it, get the little bell so you get a notification. Tell someone about it, because our point here is to build a community of people that want to have fun. We can be normal and or abnormal. We can be a little weird and but still have fun with our faith and also deepen our faith. So also don't forget to vote on who should deserve the Weird Award next week. And if it's me, I quit. No, I won't quit. But we'll have some fun type of punishment like mine was this week. What else you guys got for us?
Josh is the host next time. So if you have an idea of what he should talk about, what you want to hear us ramble on for too long about, just text him and say, hey, talk about this.
Ideas.
If he ignores you, it wasn't that good of an idea.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, make sure it's weird.
Yeah.
All right. So we love you all. We'll see you all in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So, hey, let's get weird, because normal isn't working.